Can somebody tell me how you can be paying $2,000 in rent for the past few years, but you can't get approved for a $1,500 mortgage? I'm basically paying mortgage now. It just ain't mine.
Hey guys, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Umi, and today we're going to be looking at some more housing crisis issues. But before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that I'll be doing a giveaway on Discord if we reach 100 members. So make sure you check the link down in the description below to enter.
Washington, D.C. has fallen by around $139,000. In 30 days, nearly 4,000 homes have been listed for sale in and around Washington, D.C. In November 2024, the median house in Washington, D.C. was worth around $699,000 according to Redfin. Today, the median home is worth $560,000, marking around a 20% drop in around 3 months. There are almost 8,000 homes for sale in the Washington, D.C. metro area. Nearly half of these homes have been listed over the last 30 days.
Yeah, it's definitely a concerning thing to see how more and more people are talking about this, how more houses are being put on the market. We're seeing the housing inventory go up, and not just by a little bit, but by a lot. And as history shows, every time the housing market sees a huge influx of houses on the market, time and time again, it's usually met with a crisis, with a sharp lunge in prices, average home prices, and leading to a crash. Essentially, I'm noticing more and more people talk about this, and it's one thing to see content creators talk about it because sometimes it's just it becomes like what you're known for, right? Like I see a lot of content creators on YouTube talk about like the economy and like the housing market, and a lot of them have made a name for themselves talking about this stuff, and usually it's because it's all doom and gloom, right? When you start seeing like the big media companies talking about it, that's when it's like, okay, this is kind of concerning because these large players, these giant media companies are now getting the attention of this, and they think it's necessary and important to deliver the news on this. I mean, yeah, sure, we're all in it to like get views at the end of the day, to get clicks, but I think when you start to hear more and more people talk about it, there's some validity there. This isn't like some fringe thing that is going against like the status quo. Honestly, what's become the fringe narrative are the people who have buried their heads in the sand and are saying, oh, this is nothing, there's no need to be concerned, we'll be fine, just keep on going. No, like we need to start like moving carefully now, because I mean the writing's on the walls, guys.
So you trust me to pay somebody else stuff, but you don't trust me to pay my own I try to go get approved for a loan. Now I'm financial risk. Now my debt to income ratio too high. Now you gotta check my credit score. If you don't want me to get my own house, just say that. If you want me to rent for the rest of my life, just say that. If you want me to pay somebody else's bill for the rest of my life, just say that. Because it ain't making no sense right now. You got to pay $3,000. What? You got to make 3 times the rent in order to even get a place. And you telling me I've been paying this month after month, year after year, and put money to the side to save up and stuff like that, and I still can't get approved for a $1,500 mortgage. That don't make no sense at all. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
This right here, I think, is what bothers me the most about like the current situation that a lot of people are faced with today. It's the fact that you end up having to pay so much more every month on rent because you can't get approved for a mortgage. Like case in point with this woman right here in the previous clip. I mean, she's paying, I think she said $2,000 a month in rent, and that's fine, like there's no problem with that. But as soon as she tries to get a mortgage for $1,500, something that's, $1,500 would be a much better payment than obviously $2,000 a month, but she can't get approved because they have to do like all this other stuff, this, that, and the other. I mean, yes, there are certain things in place, right, to make sure that, because obviously buying a house is no joke. Like it is a huge decision. Like it's a whole nother thing. Like I get it. I get why the banks are a bit like stingy when it comes to giving out mortgages, but it makes me upset when people who can make those mortgage payments every month, because they've proven to do it with a rent payment for years that's, sometimes 50% more or even 100% more on what they're currently paying, with rent. It's like, obviously if they can pay the rent they're they're paying now helping someone else pay their mortgage. Remember that. Like when you pay rent, you're basically paying someone else's mortgage. Okay. So like let that sink in for a little bit. And then you've proven that you can do that. But when you try to get a house, oh no, now it's like well, you got to meet this criteria. You got to meet that criteria. It's like this whole thing where you have to jump through so many hoops just to make your life a little bit easier. It's kind of ridiculous, and it makes me upset genuinely, because it's almost like people get punished for trying to make their lives just a little bit easier. And also you got to remember, when you buy a house, you're basically cementing yourself in a community. And I think once you become a homeowner, you're much more valuable to the community than most people would like to let on, because now you have to pay property taxes, and you care about what's going on in your neighborhood. You care what's going on in the community. Like I feel like you become a little bit more important as like an everyday citizen, right? Like once you own a home, you're looked at like a little bit differently. You're taken a little bit more seriously by local governments, by other people, like wealthier people in the area. It's almost like you kind of like boost your like status and your class, I guess, once you make a big purchase like that.
We will never have affordable housing in this country again, because people have built their wealth on real estate. People will need to lose their homes, lose their investments, lose value in the homes in order for us to have affordable housing. And this is a rough conversation to have, because we all have friends who've invested in real estate. Our parents own homes. Our grandparents own homes. We're all being taught to build wealth through real estate, but that directly leads to the housing crisis that we have already arrived at, that we've been at for over a decade. I remember growing up seeing Fox News talking about class warfare, but it's like, we working class people, the ones who are the have-nots, we did not ask for class warfare. We asked for our fair share. You took it all. So now if we have to take it back, that might lead to some class warfare. But really, whose fault was that? Like, whose fault was that? And it's not even the people who wanted to invest in real estate. Like, why is there no government national housing option for people who just want a $100,000 home? And you might be saying, oh, that's a shack. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. The cost of materials to build a home, the land to build a home, not that expensive in a lot of places. In a lot of places it is. But we have to be honest about this. When we're all talking about let's build wealth and build triplexes and rent out things, you want to be a landlord? You want to hoard land when people can't afford housing, when there's homeless people everywhere? I understand. We're worried. We don't have generational wealth to pass on. For sure. But we will be adding to the problem by continuing to invest in real estate. This whole country, most of the wealth in this country is built off of investing in real estate and starting businesses that then sell for millions, billions. Affordable housing will bring down the prices of everyone's houses. So that's what's gonna need to happen.
What she said is so true about how it's definitely not an easy conversation, because affordable housing means that the people with homes currently, the value of their homes will have to come down. That's just how it works, unfortunately. And also the fact that she said that the majority of people who make it in this country, they've done one of two things. They either invested in real estate early on, 30, 40 years ago when it was really cheap, or they started a company and then they turned it around and sold it for millions. I've noticed that trend personally in my life. All the wealthy people that I've met have been either real estate moguls or business owners, entrepreneurs. The people who are doctors and lawyers, working a profession like that only gets you so far. There's a cap to it, and it's kind of crazy to think how if you become a doctor or a lawyer now, expect that you will only be upper middle class. You'll never be super wealthy. You just won't. It doesn't work like that anymore, at least. As a society, we don't value that as much as we used to, I guess. When I was growing up, I heard oh, if you want to be ultra wealthy, you got to become a doctor or a lawyer. And now it's just not the case anymore. Now you have to be a landlord. You either have to be a landlord or a business owner. Develop an app and then sell it to, I don't know, a larger tech company who will buy you out for millions of dollars. Like, that's just how the game works now. With all the doom and gloom that's happening and all the uncertainty, the only silver lining is that, like, okay, maybe this will be a little bit of a reset. People who were struggling to find affordable housing will soon find housing within their budget, you know. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, leave me a like down below. Dislike it if you dislike it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you currently experiencing any issues with housing prices? I'm kind of just like waiting to see how things play out in the next few months. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And as always, if you enjoy this sort of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It would help me and the channel go a long way. But anyway, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Later.